Death is not the end. It's just the return to silence. Think about that for a second. The return to silence. Not pain, not fire and brimstone, not some dramatic final moment. Just quiet. And yet, for most of us, death is the ultimate fear. Why? And why are so many philosophers weirdly okay with it? Today we'll journey through time, through ancient Greece, Roman Stoic thought, Tibetan death philosophy, to uncover why you fear death and why you probably don't have to. Fear of death is wired into our biology. It's survival instinct. You run from a tiger not just because of its teeth, but because of what those teeth mean, the end of you. But the fear of non-existence, the kind that creeps in late at night when everything's quiet, that's not biological, that's existential. We fear losing everything we love, ceasing to exist, the unknown, the irony. We don't fear before we were born. That silence didn't bother us. So why does the silence after life feel terrifying? Meet Epicurus, Greek philosopher, lived around 300 BCE, not a party animal despite the word Epicurean being linked to luxury. In reality, he was all about simplicity, friendship, and overcoming fear. His take on death: when we exist, death is not. When death exists, we are not. Think of it like this. You never experience being dead. You only experience dying, and even that is a moment. After that, no sensation, no pain, just like a dreamless sleep. Epicurus argued, death is nothing to us because it's never part of our experience. You don't fear sleep, you fear thinking about sleep. Imagine turning off a movie, the screen goes black, but you don't miss the movie if you're not watching. You're just not there. Epicurus believed that most of our fear comes from false beliefs, ideas of punishment, hell, or endless suffering after death. Remove those beliefs, and death becomes as natural as falling asleep. Now let's go to ancient Rome, home of the Stoics. The Stoics weren't cold or emotionless, as people often think. They were deeply emotional thinkers who trained themselves to accept what they couldn't control. One of their most repeated lessons? Memento mori. Remember that you will die, but not to scare you, to free you. Seneca, a famous Stoic, said, "It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste much of it." The Stoics believed you don't control death. You only control how you live before it. Think of life like a cup of tea. You know it will get cold eventually, but that doesn't stop you from savoring every warm sip. When you accept death, you stop fearing it, and instead you start living with urgency, clarity, and peace. In Tibetan Buddhism, death isn't a problem, it's a process. They believe in Bardo, a transitional state after death, where the consciousness journeys forward. Tibetan monks meditate on death daily, not to become morbid, but to become free from attachment. They believe that if you accept death, you die with grace, and how you die reflects how you lived. There's even a book, the Tibetan Book of the Dead, a guide not just for the dying, but for the living. It teaches that fear of death comes from clinging to the self, the ego, the illusion that we are fixed, separate things. Let go of the illusion, and you let go of fear. It's like a wave in the ocean fearing the shore. It forgets it was always part of the ocean. The wave ends. The water remains. So why does this matter? Because most of our anxiety in life is rooted in the fear of death. It makes us chase things that don't matter. It paralyzes us from taking risks. It keeps us in cycles of regret and denial. But when you shift your perspective from fear to acceptance, something happens. Life becomes richer, not duller. You say, "I love you" more. You let go of petty fights. You stop waiting for someday because you realize someday is now. Death is not the enemy. Fear is. And when we begin to understand death, not as an end, but as a return to silence, to stillness, something shifts. Epicurus taught us that what we fear, we never truly meet. The Stoics showed us how to make peace with the inevitable. And from the East, we learned to dissolve, like a wave returning to the ocean. So the next time death whispers, maybe, just maybe, we'll listen without fear. If the video made you think, share it with someone you care about. And if you'd like to keep exploring the big questions, subscribe and walk this path with us. Until next time, stay thoughtful, stay present, and remember, you are not alone in wondering.